The night was unusually quiet in the small town of Riverview. Streetlights flickered every few seconds, casting long, uneven shadows on the sidewalks. Alex tightened the straps of his tool bag as he walked along the empty streets. The soft crunch of his boots against the pavement was the only sound, until his phone buzzed sharply in his pocket. He pulled it out and squinted at the glowing screen. A message from Mara, his best friend's younger sister. "Alex, my water heater broke. Can you come tonight? Please?" Alex frowned. He didn't usually get calls for repairs this late, but Mara had never called unless it was serious. He tapped the screen and typed back, "I'll be there in 10 minutes. By the time he reached her apartment building, a cold wind had started to swirl around him. He pressed the intercom button for her unit. "Hey, Alex?" Mara's voice trembled just slightly. "Thanks for coming. I didn't want to call anyone else." Alex gave her a reassuring smile, even though she couldn't see it. "No problem. I've got this." The hallway smelled faintly of damp paint and something metallic, almost like copper. Alex walked up the stairs, his hand brushing the cold railing. When he reached her apartment, Mara opened the door almost immediately. "Thanks," she said, stepping aside to let him in. Her apartment was small but tidy, though the lights flickered every few seconds. "It's freezing," she added, shivering. Alex nodded. "I'll take a look." He crouched down in front of the old water heater in the corner of the kitchen. The metal was warm in some spots and icy in others, as if it couldn't decide what it wanted to be. Alex ran his fingers along the pipes, examining the connections. Nothing looked unusual at first glance, but then he noticed it. A thin, blue line of light glowing from the control panel. Not the usual lights of a water heater, not the red or green indicators he had seen 100 times before. This light pulsed softly, almost like a heartbeat. Mara," he said slowly, standing up. "Have you noticed this before?" She shook her head, biting her lip. I don't know. It started when I turned the heater on tonight." Alex frowned. Something about the pattern of the light didn't feel right. He opened the small panel on the heater and gasped. Inside were circuits, thin, intricate wires that twisted in ways he had never seen. Tiny glowing nodes blinked rhythmically. This was not ordinary technology, not by a long shot. What is this?" Mara whispered, stepping closer. "Is it broken?" Alex hesitated. I don't know. It's not broken in the usual sense. It's different. Someone designed this for something else entirely." Mara's eyes widened. "Someone else?" "Yes," Alex said carefully. "Something not human. At least I don't think it's from anything we make." Her face paled. "Not human, like aliens?" Alex shrugged. "I don't know yet, but we need to be careful. Don't touch anything, just stay close." She nodded and moved to stand beside him, her voice barely above a whisper. "Don't leave me alone tonight," she said. Alex felt a chill run down his spine. He tried to smile. "I'm not going anywhere." He crouched again and began to examine the heater more closely. Every wire and node seemed to pulse with energy, almost alive. He had to admit, a part of him was fascinated. He had seen a lot of machines in his life, but never anything like this. Suddenly, the heater emitted a soft humming sound. The air around it shimmered slightly, like heat waves rising off a road on a hot day. Alex froze. The humming grew louder, more insistent, vibrating through the floor. "What's happening?" Mara asked, her voice shaking. "I'm not sure," Alex said. "Stay back." He reached out carefully and touched the panel. The moment his fingers made contact, the room filled with a strange blue light. The humming became a low, melodic tone, almost like it was trying to communicate. Alex pulled back, heart racing. Mara grabbed his arm. "Alex, I'm scared." He squeezed her hand gently. "I know. Me too. But we can figure this out. Together. The light from the heater began to grow, expanding outward, bathing the entire kitchen in an eerie glow. Alex noticed movement within the light, tiny shapes darting in and out, almost like miniature drones or insects made of energy. "They're in there," Alex muttered. "I don't know what they are, but they're alive. Somehow." Mara took a step back, nearly knocking over a chair. "Alive? Alex, I think we should leave." He shook his head. "Not yet. I need to understand this. If we just run, we won't know what we're dealing with, and it could come back worse." The humming intensified, and the tiny energy forms moved faster. One brushed against Alex's hand, sending a tingling shock up his arm. He yelped, but held his ground. Mara watched, wide-eyed, as Alex carefully disconnected a small wire. The drones, if that's what they were, scattered, retreating into the heater. The humming softened. Alex exhaled slowly. "That's better, for now. But whatever this is, it's not just a broken appliance. Someone or something put this here for a reason." Mara bit her lip, still shivering. "Why me? Why my apartment?" Alex shook his head. "I don't know, but I'll find out. We'll be ready if it comes back." She glanced at the clock. It was nearly midnight. "It's late. Maybe I should go stay somewhere else?" Alex smiled faintly. "No, you're staying here. I'm not leaving, remember?" She nodded slowly. "Okay. I trust you." For the next hour, Alex worked on the heater, carefully taking it apart, examining the circuits, and making small adjustments to stabilize the energy flow. Mara stayed close, handing him tools and keeping her voice calm. By the time he finished, the heater had stopped humming. The tiny drones, or energy forms, were nowhere in sight. The blue light dimmed to a soft glow, just enough to keep the room warm. Alex wiped his hands on his jeans and looked at Mara. "We did it, for now. But we need to stay alert. I think this is only the beginning." Mara shivered again, but this time it wasn't just the cold. I don't know what I'd do without you, Alex." He gave her a reassuring nod. "You won't have to find out. I'll be here." As they both sat in the quiet apartment, the wind outside picked up. Shadows danced across the walls from the flickering streetlights. Alex couldn't shake the feeling that someone, or something, was watching them. The heater sat quietly in the corner, its soft blue glow pulsing faintly, like a heartbeat waiting to strike again. And Alex knew that tomorrow night, and maybe the nights after, would be nothing like this one. The next morning, sunlight streamed through Mara's small apartment, turning the blue glow from the heater into a faint shimmer on the walls. Alex didn't sleep well. His mind kept replaying the strange energy forms and the pulsing circuits he had seen the night before. He sat at the kitchen table sipping coffee while Mara prepared breakfast. The apartment smelled faintly of toasted bread and brewing coffee, but Alex hardly noticed. His eyes kept darting toward the corner where the heater hummed quietly. "You're really quiet this morning," Mara said softly. "Are you okay?" Alex gave a small smile. "I'm fine, just thinking." Mara nodded, sensing he wasn't going to explain. She poured a cup of coffee and handed it to him. "I still can't believe what happened last night. That thing, whatever it was." Alex took the cup but didn't drink. "It's not just a heater. It's some kind of device. Something is using it to monitor, or maybe test, humans." Mara blinked. "Test humans? That sounds impossible." "Maybe it does," Alex admitted. "But it explains why it acted the way it did. The energy forms. They were observing, and they reacted when I touched the circuits. They didn't expect me to understand them or fight back." Mara frowned. "So, we're being watched?" Alex nodded. "Yes, and I think they'll come back." The thought made Mara shiver. Then we need to prepare, right? Alex set down his coffee. Exactly, but first we need information. I want to figure out what we're dealing with before it shows up again. He grabbed his tool bag and headed toward the heater. Mara followed. Her curiosity mixed with fear. Alex examined the device carefully, noting the intricate patterns in the circuitry. It was like nothing he had seen before, almost alive, almost intelligent. I want to trace where these energy signals come from, he said. If we can find the source, maybe we can understand their purpose. Mara hesitated. Do you think it's dangerous? Alex shook his head. It could be, but we can handle it. We just have to be smart. He spent hours tracing the hidden wires, using small tools to measure the energy pulses. The readings were irregular, almost like a heartbeat, but much faster than a human's. The patterns seemed to follow logic, responding to his adjustments. This isn't random, he muttered. Someone or something is controlling this. Mara watched silently, fascinated despite her fear. It's like it's alive. In a way it is, Alex said, but not alive the way we are. Just as he finished speaking, the heater pulsed again. The blue glow brightened slightly, and a faint humming filled the room. Alex froze. They're back, he said. Mara's eyes widened. Already? Alex nodded. We need to stay calm and quiet. Let's see what they do. The energy forms emerged slowly, small and quick, darting around the room. They were no larger than a bird, glowing with faint light. Alex realized they weren't aggressive yet. They were observing again, scanning every object in the apartment. They're studying us, Alex whispered. They want to see how we react. Mara's hand found his. What if they hurt us? Alex gave her a firm look. They won't, as long as we stay smart. Remember, they reacted last night when I touched the circuits. That means they're cautious. That works in our favor. He studied the drones, then had an idea. I can confuse them. If I create a pattern they don't expect, we can learn more without being harmed. Mara tilted her head. You mean, trick them? Alex nodded. Exactly. And I think humans are really good at tricking things that are too logical. That might be our advantage. He grabbed a few tools and began creating small decoys. Tiny reflective pieces, bits of wire, and a battery to make blinking lights. He arranged them around the apartment, setting up a maze of distractions. When he activated them, the energy forms reacted immediately. They darted toward the lights, confused, and their pattern of movement became chaotic. Alex took careful notes, observing how they adapted, or failed to adapt. This is amazing, Mara whispered. They're like really smart bugs. Smart, yes, Alex agreed, but predictable if we understand their logic. Hours passed as Alex and Mara experimented with different tricks. Each time, the energy forms changed slightly, learning, adapting, but never fully overcoming the decoys. Alex realized humans' ability to improvise was something the drones weren't expecting. This is exactly why humans are dangerous to them, he said finally. We can think in ways they can't predict. Mara smiled faintly. So, maybe we do have a chance. Alex nodded. We have more than a chance. We have an advantage. But we need more information. I want to see where they came from. If we can trace their network... Just then, the heater pulsed violently, brighter than ever before. The humming became louder, almost like a warning. Alex froze, realizing the energy forms weren't just studying, they were signaling something. They're calling someone, he muttered. Mara stepped back. Calling someone? Who? I don't know, Alex admitted. But we need to be ready. Before they could react further, a faint crackling sound came from the heater. A small panel popped open and a strange device slid out, landing softly on the floor. It was smooth, metallic, and pulsed with faint energy. Alex picked it up carefully. This is a beacon. They're tracking us now. Mara gasped. Tracking us? Oh no. Alex examined the device closely. Tiny lights blinked in a pattern he didn't recognize, but the energy felt alive, like it was sensing his touch. They'll come back, he said quietly. And soon. But now we have a warning. Mara shivered. What do we do? Alex smiled faintly. We prepare. We learn. And we make sure they know humans are not easy to control. Over the next hour, Alex worked to disable the beacon temporarily. It was delicate work, requiring steady hands and careful thinking. Mara assisted, handing him tools and keeping an eye on the heater. Finally, the blinking stopped. The device lay inert in Alex's hand. Not gone forever, he said. But we've slowed them down. That buys us time. Mara let out a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. I guess I won't be alone tonight either, she said softly. Alex smiled. Exactly, and neither will I. We face this together. As the sun set over Riverview, shadows lengthened in Mara's apartment. Alex watched the heater, now quiet. But he knew better than to trust its calm. The strange energy forms had retreated for now, but they were still out there, waiting, observing. And he knew that humanity's strength, its creativity, its courage, its unpredictability, would be tested in the nights to come. The first clear fact had become undeniable. Humans were not helpless. And Alex was determined to prove that, no matter what came next. The morning sun peeked through Mara's curtains, casting soft light across the apartment. Alex was already at the heater, tools scattered around him, examining the strange device that had slid out the night before. The temporary shutdown of the beacon had bought them time, but he knew the aliens, or whoever controlled the drones, wouldn't stay away for long. Mara watched him silently, holding a cup of coffee like it might give her courage. Alex, she said finally, do you really think they're aliens? Not human at all? Alex didn't answer immediately. He traced the intricate lines of circuitry, noting patterns in the energy pulses. I don't know what they are exactly, he said carefully. But they're not something made by humans. And whatever they are, they're intelligent. They're testing us, watching us. Mara shivered, wrapping her arms around herself. Testing humans? Why would they do that? Alex looked at her, thinking. Because humans are unpredictable. We can solve problems in ways no machine, no program, no alien logic can predict. That's why they watch us, and maybe why they think they can control us. But they're wrong. Mara nodded slowly. So, what do we do? Alex set the tools down and leaned against the counter. We learn. We fight back. And we prepare for when they come again, but first we need to know more about them. If we can understand their system, we can predict what they'll do next. She hesitated. You mean, we hack them? Not exactly hacking, Alex said. Just studying their behavior, observing their logic, and then using our human creativity to confuse them. That's our advantage. Mara frowned. I still don't understand. How can humans beat them? Alex smiled faintly. We think differently. We improvise. We feel. Machines, or even aliens with advanced tech, don't always expect humans to make mistakes, and then use those mistakes to their advantage. That's what we'll do. They spent the morning examining the tiny device from the heater. It was smooth, metallic, and pulsed faintly, almost like it had a heartbeat. Alex noticed tiny markings etched along its surface, symbols he had never seen before. These aren't just signals, he muttered. They're a code, something they're using to communicate or track. We need to decode it. Mara leaned closer. Do you think your brother, he's good with tech, right, could help? Alex shook his head. No, not this. This is beyond normal human tech knowledge. We'll have to rely on our instincts and logic, and each other. By mid-afternoon, the energy forms returned. They emerged from the heater, small and quick, buzzing around the apartment. But Alex was ready. He had prepared a series of decoys, flashing lights, reflective surfaces, and even small sounds from his tools, designed to distract and confuse them. The drones darted toward the decoys, momentarily distracted. Alex and Mara watched carefully, noting how each one reacted, how quickly they adapted, and what patterns emerged. "They're smart," Mara whispered. "Yes," Alex agreed, "but predictable if we understand their logic." He scribbled notes on a notepad, sketching patterns and behaviors. "See? They react to stimuli in a certain order. If we can manipulate that, we can control their movement, or at least delay them." Mara nodded slowly, a spark of hope in her eyes. "So, humans can win." Alex smiled. "Not just win, we can survive, and we can fight back, but we need more information. We need to know where they came from." Just as he spoke, one of the drones moved differently than the others. It hovered near the window, its light pulsing rapidly, as if signaling something beyond the apartment. "They're calling someone," Alex muttered. "Or something." Mara gasped. "Who?" "What?" Alex shook his head. "I don't know, but we need to prepare. They'll come back, bigger and faster. And this time, they'll come in full force." The hours passed, and as evening fell, Alex's worry grew. He realized they weren't just dealing with a small test. This was part of a larger network, a system of observation and control far beyond their world. And humans, unpredictable, resilient humans, were proving more dangerous than the aliens expected. "Alex," Mara said quietly, "do you think they know we're learning? That we're adapting?" Alex nodded. "Definitely. That's why they keep returning. They want to see if we can be controlled or if we can outthink them. And Mara, we are outthinking them, one step at a time." She looked at him, hope mixed with fear in her eyes. "But what if they fail to leave? What if they attack?" Alex stood, determination in his eyes. "Then we fight, together. Humans aren't weak. We survive. We adapt. And we can beat things bigger, faster, stronger than us. That's what makes us dangerous." The heater pulsed again, brighter this time, almost like it was listening. Alex reached out carefully and touched it, feeling the energy surge through his fingers. The drones paused, scanning him. For a moment, it felt like a silent standoff. Then Alex did something unexpected. He tapped a sequence on the heater's panel, following a rhythm he had observed in the drone's behavior. The lights blinked in response, and the drones scattered, confused by the new pattern. Mara gasped. "You tricked them!" Alex grinned. "Yes, and that's exactly the point. They think they understand humans, but humans can surprise them. That's why we're strong. That's why we survive." As the night grew darker, Alex and Mara sat on the floor of the kitchen, exhausted but alert. The drones had retreated, at least for now, and the heater pulsed softly, almost as if it were calm. Mara leaned against him. "I can't believe it. Humans really can fight back." Alex nodded. "We can, and we will. But we need to be ready. They're watching, and they won't stop." She looked at him, worry still in her eyes. "Alex, what if they come with more? What if they bring others?" He took her hand, giving her a reassuring squeeze. "Then we'll be ready. Together. Humans have something they don't expect. Creativity, courage, unpredictability. That's our power. And no one, not even aliens, can take that from us." The night grew still again. Outside, the wind whispered through the streets of Riverview, rustling leaves and carrying distant sounds of the city. But inside Mara's apartment, there was a quiet determination. Alex and Mara had faced something beyond human understanding and survived. And they knew that whatever came next, humanity would not be easy to defeat. Because humans, Alex thought as he glanced at the pulsing heater, had a strength the aliens could never fully calculate and a courage no machine could measure. And this was only the beginning. Night had fallen over Riverview, the streets empty and silent, except for the occasional rustle of leaves. Inside Mara's apartment, Alex worked feverishly on the heater, examining every wire and panel. The temporary shutdown of the beacon had only bought them a few hours, and he knew the drones, or whatever controlled them, would return in full force. Mara sat nearby, keeping watch. Her nerves were frayed, but she was determined. "Do you think they'll come tonight?" she asked softly. Alex didn't answer immediately. He ran a hand over the pulsing blue light of the heater. "I know they will. And this time they won't just observe. They'll test us. Hard." Mara shivered, wrapping her arms around herself. "Then we need a plan." Alex nodded. "Exactly. And humans have one thing aliens don't always understand: improvisation, quick thinking, and the ability to turn our surroundings into weapons." He began to prepare. Using everyday items, pipes, wires, metal scraps, and even water from the heater, he set up traps around the apartment, reflective surfaces, small pulleys, and carefully placed containers of water became part of an intricate defense system. Mara watched, fascinated. "You're turning the apartment into a trap?" Alex smiled faintly. "Exactly. They think they're in control, but humans can take ordinary things and make them extraordinary." Hours passed as Alex tested his contraptions, making adjustments based on the behavior of the drones from the previous nights. He created small devices that emitted pulses of light and sound, designed to confuse the alien sensors. He rigged the heater itself to produce sudden bursts of energy that could disorient the drones. As midnight approached, the apartment fell into an eerie silence. Alex and Mara crouched behind the counter, waiting. Then it began. A soft humming, followed by the faint shimmer of the energy drones appearing from the heater. But this time they were more numerous, moving faster and with sharper focus. Alex's traps sprang into action immediately. Lights flashed, mirrors reflected beams to confuse them, and small water traps sent shocks through the floor, disorienting the drones. Mara held her breath as she watched the scene unfold. "Alex, they're falling for it." "Yes," he whispered. "They didn't expect us to adapt so quickly." The drones regrouped quickly, darting back toward the heater. But Alex had anticipated this. He triggered a hidden wire connected to a metal rod near the heater. The rod conducted energy from the heater itself, sending a controlled surge into the floor. The drones scattered, unable to recalibrate their sensors fast enough. "This is incredible," Mara whispered. "You're outsmarting them." Alex grinned. "Humans are clever and unpredictable. That's why we survive." But the victory was short-lived. One drone, larger and faster than the others, ignored the traps entirely. It moved straight toward Mara, its energy pulsing aggressively. "Alex!" she shouted, stepping back. He acted instantly. Using a metal pan and a length of pipe, he created a makeshift deflector, redirecting the drone's energy away from Mara. Sparks flew and the drone skidded across the floor, confused and temporarily disabled. Mara exhaled, trembling. "That was too close." Alex nodded, catching his breath. "It's okay. I've got you." He looked around. The other drones were regrouping, attempting to bypass his traps. But he had one more plan. Using the heater's energy, he created a feedback loop, a pulse designed to overload the drone's internal systems without damaging the apartment. "Step back," he said to Mara. She moved behind him, eyes wide with fear and trust. Alex activated the feedback. A soft blue wave of energy pulsed from the heater, spreading across the floor. The drones buzzed frantically, their lights flickering as they tried to compensate. One by one, they faltered, then froze entirely. Mara stared in awe. "You did it. You stopped them." Alex looked at the heater, which now glowed softly, almost peacefully. "For now. But they'll return. And next time, it might be worse." Mara took his hand. "I don't care. We can face them. Together." Alex smiled, feeling a surge of pride. Humanity had a strength that no technology could fully measure. Their ingenuity, courage, and ability to improvise were unmatched, and he knew that this strength would carry them through whatever challenges lay ahead. Hours later, the apartment was quiet again. Alex and Mara sat together, exhausted but alert. Outside, the wind whispered through the streets, rustling leaves and carrying distant city sounds. But inside, there was a quiet determination. "We did it," Mara said softly. "Humans can really fight back." "Yes," Alex agreed. "And we will. Whatever comes next, we won't be easy to defeat. They underestimated us, and that's their mistake." The heater pulsed faintly, a reminder that the threat wasn't gone, only delayed. But Alex knew one thing for certain. Humanity's creativity, courage, and unpredictability were more than enough to challenge even the most advanced technology. As the night wore on, Alex and Mara made plans. They would study the heater further, learn more about the drones, and prepare for the next encounter. Every trap, every strategy, every improvised device would give them an advantage, and they would use it, because humans were not just survivors. Humans were fighters, and in this battle of wits and ingenuity, they had already proven they could hold their own against something far more advanced. The night ended with the heater glowing softly, the apartment quiet, and two humans ready for whatever came next. Alex knew the drones would return, and perhaps in greater numbers. But he also knew that humans had something that could never be measured by circuits or energy: courage, ingenuity, and the will to survive. And that was enough. The night had settled heavily over Riverview. The streets were dark, quiet, and empty, and a cold wind moved between the buildings. Inside Mara's apartment, Alex and Mara stayed alert. Knowing that the drones could return at any moment, the temporary victory of the last night had given them hope, but also a warning. This was not the end. Alex crouched near the heater, studying the strange energy forms still faintly pulsing inside its circuits. He had spent the day reinforcing traps, adjusting the feedback loops and learning every pattern the drones used. Every detail mattered. Every observation could make the difference between survival and defeat. Mara watched him quietly, a mix of worry and admiration in her eyes. "Alex, do you think we can actually stop them this time?" she asked softly. Alex looked up at her, determination shining in his eyes. "Yes, we can. Humans have something they don't understand: creativity, courage, the ability to adapt in ways no machine or alien can fully predict. That's our advantage. And tonight, we'll use it." The first signs came just after midnight. A soft humming, low and deliberate, filled the apartment. The heater glowed a brighter blue, and tiny energy drones began to emerge, faster and more numerous than before. They moved with a precision that suggested they had learned from the last encounter. "They've adapted," Alex muttered. "We'll need to be smarter than ever." Mara's hand found his. "We're ready," she whispered. Alex smiled faintly. "We have to be." As the drones swarmed into the apartment, Alex triggered his first trap, a series of reflective panels and blinking lights that confused their sensors. They scattered momentarily, buzzing in chaos. Mara helped by manually moving mirrors to redirect the energy pulses, guiding the drones into carefully prepared zones. "Nice," Alex whispered. "Keep it steady." The drones began to regroup, more determined than ever. They zipped toward the heater, intent on restoring control and tracking the humans. Alex anticipated this. With a swift motion, he activated a hidden feedback loop connected to the heater's energy core. A pulse shot through the floor, creating waves that disrupted the drone's movement. Mara gasped. "It's working." "Yes," Alex said, "but we're not done yet." From the corner of the room, a larger drone emerged. Its energy pulsed more aggressively, and it moved with terrifying speed toward Mara. "Alex!" she shouted, stepping back. He reacted instantly. Using a metal pipe and a small reflector, he deflected the drone's energy, redirecting it toward the wall. Sparks flew, and the drone faltered, disoriented. But Alex knew it wouldn't be enough. The larger drones had intelligence, coordination, and speed that made them formidable. "This is it," he muttered. "Time for the final step." He crouched near the heater and began recalibrating the circuits, creating a controlled energy feedback that would overload the drone's systems without harming the apartment. Every wire, every node had to be precise. One mistake, and the drones could strike back. Mara watched, holding her breath. "Be careful!" "I am," Alex said, his hands steady. "Trust me." The feedback loop began. The heater glowed brighter and brighter, energy surging outward in a controlled pattern. The drones buzzed frantically, trying to adjust, but the wave of human ingenuity, every trap, every trick, every improvisation, overwhelmed them. One by one they faltered, lights flickering, movements slowing until they froze completely. Mara exhaled slowly. "Alex, we did it. You did it." Alex looked at her, exhausted but smiling. "We did it. Together." The heater pulsed softly, no longer aggressive, but still glowing with a calm blue light. Alex examined it carefully. The alien technology was deactivated, at least for now, but he knew it could be reactivated. They had survived, and they had proven one undeniable truth. Humans could fight back, even against far superior technology. Mara looked at him with awe. "I can't believe it. Humans really are stronger than they seem." Alex nodded. "Yes, strength isn't always about size or power. Sometimes it's about thinking, adapting, and refusing to give up. Humans have that in spades." They spent the next hour dismantling the remaining drones, analyzing the technology, and ensuring that no active components remained to reactivate the system. Every small part, every glowing circuit, was carefully documented. Alex wanted to understand the aliens' logic, to be prepared if they returned. As dawn broke, the first light of morning filled the apartment. Outside, Riverview stirred to life, unaware of the battle that had taken place in a quiet corner of the city. Alex and Mara sat together, tired but triumphant. "We've done more than survive," Alex said quietly. "We've shown that humans aren't easy to defeat, that our creativity, courage, and determination can turn the tide against even the most advanced opponents." Mara smiled faintly. "So, what now?" Alex looked at the heater, still glowing faintly. "Now we learn, prepare, and stay alert. We've won this battle, but the war isn't over. And one thing is certain, humans will always be dangerous to those who underestimate them." She nodded. "Together?" "Together," Alex agreed. Over the next few weeks, they studied the alien technology, improving their defenses and learning every possible tactic. They realized that humans' unpredictability was their greatest weapon. Even the most advanced alien intelligence couldn't anticipate every choice, every improvisation, every human decision. Wordlessly, they prepared for the future. If the aliens returned, they would face humans who had learned, adapted, and evolved. And the humans would be ready. For Mara and Alex, the experience had forged a bond stronger than fear. They had faced something far beyond human understanding and survived. And through it all, they had learned a fundamental truth. Humans were not helpless. The heater remained in the corner of the apartment, a silent reminder of the night they had triumphed. Its soft blue glow pulsed gently, almost like a heartbeat, and Alex knew that humanity's strength, creativity, courage, and ingenuity would never be underestimated again. As they looked out at the sunrise, a sense of calm settled over the apartment. They had fought back, they had won, and they had proven the unmeasurable power of the human spirit. And for the first time since the strange events had begun, Alex felt a sense of peace. Humanity had faced an unknown threat and had emerged stronger, smarter, and braver. Mara smiled at him. "I guess I won't be alone tonight or any night," she said softly. Alex smiled back. "No, not tonight, not ever." The future remained uncertain, but one thing was clear. Humans could survive anything. And if the aliens or any other unknown force ever returned, they would be ready. Because humans had something no technology could calculate, something no alien intelligence could predict. Humans had courage, creativity, and the will to fight, and that would always be enough.